Wow, down to 2 games left in the NFL, actually 3, the Super Bowl. College football's over. It's all about NBA, NHL, college baskets. Looking forward to it. All right, guys, we're back. College football season over. We got the 3 games left in the NFL. We got college basketball heating up, and we got the NBA and the NHL. I am here with my staff, the main guys behind this show, the Get the Edge show. And again, I'm Scott Matthews, the host of this great show. I'm joined by the one and only TK, Tommy King from TK Wins. What's up,
Man, like always, ready for another weekend. Froze my ass off this morning. I think it's still snowing outside there this morning.
Yeah,
Cold day in Florida.
What about that weather in the state of Florida, huh? 4 inches of snow up on the Panhandle. You don't see that, do you?
No,
Have you ever seen snow?
I've seen snow, but not in Florida.
Not in Florida? And you've been down here a long time.
I've been down here my whole life, and I've seen a couple flurries, I think, back in the 70s, but never seen it snow down in really snow in Florida.
Yeah. Well, here he is, ladies and gentlemen, the CEO of the Sports Prophets, Teddy Brooks. What's up?
Yes, sir. Glad to be here. I don't want to get too political right in the beginning of the show.
Yeah, there we go.
But this shows you this whole global warming. Yeah, global warming. It's snowing in Florida for the first time in 20 years. The globe's really warming.
I got customers up in the Panhandle. I think you showed me
My
a video.
My cousin lives in the Panhandle. He's a GM at a restaurant up there. Tons of snow. He was sending me live video. I FaceTimed him last night. It was falling out of the sky, and then he sent me a video today walking on this bridge to the beach.
I don't think they know what to do with that, huh?
FSU
They're not
had a
used to that.
snowball fight last night. I saw FSU campus. They were having snowball fights on the campus last night. Kids were out in the streets.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, guys, down here in Florida. Well, up in northern Florida, obviously, close to the heading into what's the state of
Alabama, Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, you could see probably snow once in a great while, but down here in South Florida, where we're all based out of, you don't see snow.
It snowed in the 70s down here, I think, one time.
Yeah, it was probably
1970s. I think I was like 6, 7 years old.
1989.
89?
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Oh, look at Ben on top of things. All right.
There you go.
Well, guys, listen, we're down to 3 games left in the whole entire season of the NFL. It's unbelievable. I keep talking about it. It's almost like kind of amazing to me that we're here sitting here in August getting ready for it, and now it's almost gone. College football's gone. I wanted to get your take. I'm going to ask you first, Teddy, and then go throw it over to TK after. What was your thoughts on that championship game? A little crazy at the end there.
My thoughts on the championship game was that Riley Leonard was completely out of his league. He was outclassed. He can run the ball, but man, he put his arm to the test, and he was just outclassed.
How about that first drive though? 10-minute drive, go right down the field, convert all those first downs and score. You figure they got to right? They're going to be in that game.
But he ran it 9 or 10 times in that drive. So I think once Ohio State figured out how to stop that, that's it. That was all. That was the only thing they had to figure out how to stop.
Yeah.
But hats off to Ohio State. They put up a good fight, but Riley Leonard just was not ready for that stage.
I went with Notre Dame in the championship game. I was counting my money. If you think about it, 2 minutes, 38 seconds left. They're on the 34-yard line. All they got to do is convert 1 or 2, actually more than 1 first down. What do? They throw a 56 yard to go to the 10-yard line. So they have to score or kick the field goal because you got a first and goal on the 10. So you can't just kneel down, and get the first down. So
should have been. I think we all had Notre. You had Notre. Yeah, we all agreed that was our 3-way agreement. Last week was Notre Dame, and they should have covered that game.
Hey, 2 minutes and 38 seconds left, 8-point game, and I'm sitting with plus 10. I got it botted up to 10, and.
You're winning that 96% of the time.
What was your take on that championship game?
You really want my honest opinion? You know what I would say in that game.
I'm scared to ask.
The guy boinks one off the guy.
Oh,
shit! I could have kicked
30,
that one through. I seen that guy on game day could kick one better than that kicker. He hit the pole. I knew once he hit that pole, I said, "Oh shit, we're screwed in this game." I mean,
it's kind of.
Ohio State did dominate him though, but. Spread-wise, it's close.
If you think about it, like I said, some of these games you scratch your head. I mean, you really think about the what's the chances of going on a 3rd and 11 in a championship game? You're up 8, and you go for a 56-yard pass, a bomb, instead of trying to go for the first down. Obviously, keep it a shorter pass. I mean, your odds of completing a 56-yard pass on a 3rd and 11. Now you're giving the ball back to them with like 2 minutes and 35 seconds left. Kind of crazy.
Oh, insane.
Yeah. I mean,
insane. I was in shock. I thought, okay, We won. I put
Do you
the game
see that
off.
in the NFL? I think not. I don't think so.
What about Kansas City this weekend? That safety at the end. You see it a little bit there. Up by 11, they take a safety. I mean, I still had minus 8.5, but a lot of guys out there had 9.5.
Well, that's part of the buying of the points in a game like that. Yeah, you're going to leave it on. I would keep it under one score. I mean, I wouldn't leave that game, Kansas City. If you were on Kansas City, I would bring that game down to 7.5 or 8, not knowing, obviously, it's going to come down to a safety like that at the end. But that's just knowing the numbers to get the right lines on certain games.
These playoffs, NFL and college playoffs, I think if they've taught us anything, they taught us that moving those lines can be really important because a lot of those games came down to a sharp number, 1 or 2
Philadelphia
points off.
game came down to it. I was fortunate to have the Rams. I bought it up to 7.5, got the job done there. I want to recap with you guys. I'm going to start with you first, Ted, on what'd you think of the NFL, what happened last weekend with those 4 games? Any surprises to you, or everything looked kind of status quo?
When we talk, the biggest surprise to me was Baltimore losing, and just the absolute choke job that they.
Well, you went against TK and I.
I
That's
know,
why.
I did, but I'll get into that more. I have a lot of numbers to move into the AFC
I'm just
Championship game, so I'll get into that more. No, you're absolutely right, though. That's where I went against you guys, and I thought I was counting it home. I mean, I still think Baltimore is better than KC and Buffalo, but I'll get into that later.
Yeah.
They just choked. But besides that, Jaden Daniels, wow.
Yeah. I don't even call him a rookie at this point. I think he's as poised as any of the quarterbacks. Josh Allen, Mahomes, and who else is quarterback? Hurts. I think he's just a true talent. I think this guy's a generation kind of player.
He's a true talent, and I'll get into more when we talk about these games. But he uses a virtual reality system to simulate the games in his like goggles, and special software. And people are saying that that's the difference maker. He's been doing it since college, and I think after this season, you might see a lot of players starting to use that, quarterbacks especially.
Let me ask you, T, were you surprised at the outcome of that Washington-Detroit game, the way it was played, that Washington could put up 45 against this team, the way they were number 1 seed playing in their building and everything else? I
wasn't surprised. And I like Jane Daniels as well. You know, finally, I was on the right side of 3 fixes in the NFL, swept the board in the NFL this weekend. So I was happy with the games on Saturday and Sunday. Got a nice clean sweep this week in the NFL football overall.
Okay.
So I wasn't surprised with those
So
games.
you guys didn't see any surprises last week on those games? I mean, obviously we thought Kansas City would beat Houston one way or another to move on. I mean, Kansas City's just a machine. You can't knock this guy off, it seems like. But I'm going to have a little surprise in the show a little later about how I think that they're not going to be in New Orleans this year based on what I'm seeing. Any other takes on last week's games before we move on?
No, I think that covers it. You know, let's get into these games and then let's talk about the rest of the year, the future, what we got coming up these next few months.
Yeah. Well, what did you guys think of the Rams? And before we do move on, the Rams Philly game. I mean, that game could have been an upset. I mean, the last drive they were down on the 12-yard line, first down on the 12, and they went backwards. They could have beat Philly. So
do we call them Philly or do we call them the Barclay Eagles? I mean, if you're looking at that,
yeah,
it was really a 2-man show, and one of them got hurt in the game. Hurts, he got hurt, banged up knee. Guess he's gonna have some problems this weekend. We'll talk about that later, but it's gonna be a good game this weekend as well.
All right, let's kick it off. Let's go into this week's games. I mean, everyone's waiting to see the opinions you guys have to put out, including my own. And I want to start with the first game. Obviously, we got Washington. Redskins. It's not Redskins. Commanders. I forgot. Jeez. Washington Commanders against.
Well, here's the question. If this team, because they've been talking all year, and even the owners want to do it, everyone wants to, and they're probably going to do it. They're talking about moving the name back to the Redskins. You've heard that?
I've heard rumblings. I haven't heard confirmation.
There's not confirmation, but they're in serious discussions to do it. But here's the question. If they go all the way and win the Super Bowl, how do you almost have to keep the Commander's name at that point, right?
I would think so. I mean, I would think, that's the name it is right now, and they go and win the Super Bowl. How do you go back to the old name?
They might keep it like that, but if they got the Commanders, they sell all that merchandise. Next year, they change over to Redskins. They make double the money on the merchandise.
There you go.
This is the NFL, the National Fix League we're talking about. The National Financial League.
I was going to say National Financial League.
I thought it was not for long.
Not for long. They got to change it to the NEL League, the National Entertainment League.
I got to start with you, T, because you're jacked up, obviously, about these games and what's going on right now. You got Washington against Philadelphia. Current line on the game is 6 points. Philly 6 at home. I don't know the exact weather conditions unless you guys have a little early indication, and the total on the game is 47.5. What's your thoughts on this game? Because I have a very strong opinion on the game.
I got a strong opinion. If you want, I'll jump in right into it like I always do.
Go right ahead.
I'm jumping on Washington in this game. I don't know what side you're on, but I'm going to take Washington plus the points in this one. If you look at Washington, they're 4-1 their last 5 against the spread, 7-0 their last 7 straight up. Like I said before, Jalen Hurts, he's banged up, knee injury. You don't know how he's going to play.
You're hearing that from pretty good sources, too.
Yeah, pretty good sources. And I've said it 3 weeks in a row. I do not want to hear Eagles fly no more after this weekend. Let's go Washington plus the points. Hopefully win the game straight up this weekend.
Okay, so you like Washington. Do you think that you say they're going to win straight up?
I hope they win straight up. I'm going to take the points. I mean, it's bonus getting the +6. I don't know what the money line is right now in the game, but I'm going to take the 6 points. I mean, this quarterback's too strong.
I'll tell you right now what the money line is. They're +230.
Ooh, +230. That sounds tempting.
Philly's
right
-280 straight up at -6 at this point in time.
So Jalen Hurts made a comment. That line was at 4.5, and Jalen Hurts made a comment about how he's going to be fine. Everything's fine. He's not hurt at all. And that line moved from 4.5 all the way to either 6 or 6.5, depending on the sports book, right when he said that. He said that after the game at 10 o'clock that night it moved.
Right.
But what TK is saying is that he has some very, very good information. Hate to use the term inside information, but that's really what it is, that Hurts is a little bit more Hurts than he says he is.
He's a little hurt, huh?
He's a little bit more hurt than he says he is. So it's going to be interesting. You might get some really good – if that's true, and you can get that line at 7, I think that's huge value.
Yeah, 7 would be a great bonus.
Huge value.
Game. Or you could go with that theory that's floating around now. The symbol of the Super Bowl colors has been the Super Bowl teams for the last, 4 or 5 years. I guess this year is green and red, so there's
That's not good. That's not what I want to hear.
All right. All right, I'm going to go right to you. Washington, Philly, man. What's your thoughts? Let's go.
Really the same thing. I mean, I want to talk about this Jaden Daniels virtual reality system that this guy uses. So he's been using it since college. You guys have probably seen the Meta glasses and the Oculus. So he has one. It's specially made by a German company. I don't know if it's available to the public in the States. But every morning at 6 a.m., he runs game simulations for an hour on his virtual reality headset, and he credits a lot of his success to that. So that might be something that we see more quarterbacks use in the future. But for now, it's working for him. I think Jalen Hurts. I mean, we had an Eagles fan in here earlier today, Skinny
Right.
Joey, who does a show here in the studio, and he said the same thing. And Eagles fans, I think a lot of them agree on this, is that Jalen Hurts is a little bit overrated.
I don't know about that. I think he's a solid quarterback. They win with him. So, whatever their system is, he works in that system well.
He does, and you can be a solid quarterback, but be overrated at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, is he overrated, though, at the end of the day? I mean, think about it.
He's more of a running quarterback.
He's taken them to the playoffs. They've won a lot of games with him. I mean, they got a great weapon now with Barkley. They never had probably anyone like that in the last few years. But they've had some good running game, prior to Barkley. But their weapons on receiving with Brown, I mean, and the other guy that I forgot his name. Who's the other receiver for the Eagles?
Hollywood Brown and Devontae.
Yeah. I mean, he's got 2 great weapons there. So, I mean, he's got a lot of weapons. And if he can just stay kind of in control of the game without losing control of it, they're tough. They're a tough out.
You know why they call him Hollywood Brown, right?
No.
He's from Hollywood, Florida.
Is he? There you go.
Right down the road, baby.
What's your pick on that game?
So I want to see what this line does. I want to get more information. This is early, guys. Show's filmed on Wednesday. If I see the line,
does weather come into play in your pick?
Weather does come into play. Weather's going to come into play for something I like in the other game. But I'd be leaning right now. I'm tentatively saying Washington. I want to see what the line does. I want to try to get more information on Hurts and what his injury is. But it's a lot of points. Normally, if I saw the line move this way, I would be worried that sharp money was coming in on the Eagles. Sharp money does look like it's slightly on the Eagles right now, but I still think that line moved because of what Hurts said. So,
okay.
But I'm leaning Washington.
All right, there's no lean here, guys. I love the Redskins. Excuse me, I keep saying the Redskins. The Commanders in this game, big time. I agree 1,000% with TK on this game. I think they're a live play. Absolutely. I'll take 6. I'll buy it up to 7 right now. I don't even want to wait. I don't care what the line is. I would take the Commanders to +7. They are as live can be. They put an exhibition on Detroit last week, went into a place that they were so jacked up. Detroit is the #1 seed in their building, and they made them look ugly. And I think that this kid is the real deal. And I just think that the Eagles have just been getting by. Just, listen, they're a good team. They're solid. But I think they're running into a buzzsaw. I think this team can play with them. They know each other, being in the same division. Love the Commanders in this game, +7. Big time play for me. Love it.
I'm
with you on that one.
I looked at the weather. It's perfect weather, 40 degrees, no precipitation.
Well,
so
if the field is solid, is no advantage to either team, which is great. I think that, like I said, the Commanders, the way they're playing right now on both sides of the ball, moving the ball with this kid making great decisions. And the coaching staff, you got to give them a lot of credit to put this young kid in this spot, and he's playing fantastic football. So obviously he works well in that system, and I just think that the Commanders are a huge play. I mean, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm going to jump all over it, +7. I think I got a little field day there.
It's really not home field advantage. If you look at Washington, Philly, there's going to be a lot of Washington fans. It ain't that far of a ride.
Yeah.
I just saw that there's going to a lot of people from Washington are buying tickets to this game.
I think they split the season games 1-1, right? They each won a game in the season.
I believe so.
Did you guys see the New York Giants? I think is the GM when he was in the room before the draft with his son and daughter, kind of just relaxing. The son was laying on the couch.
Joe Shine.
Yeah.
Shone.
Where
Joe Shone.
He's asking them who he should draft, and the son says, "Dad, you get
Daniels.
You get one chance at this job. You might as well start winning." Go with Daniels. Obviously, they went with Malik Neighbors. I don't know if they had a chance to get Daniels. They could have traded up for him. That's the only way.
Listen, you never know with these these quarterbacks when you draft them what they're going to turn out to be. We've seen some big time busts over the years. In my lifetime, I've seen some tremendous busts on high ranked quarterbacks. But this guy turned out to be excellent. He seems to work great in the system, Daniels. And whoever's, Dan Quinn's just doing a tremendous job of coaching that team and keeping that team on the straight and narrow.
Isn't it weird how that works? Like anybody can just come into the league and be great, and anybody can come into the league
and be a bust
and just be a
complete
complete bust.
What's his name?
Ryan Leaf.
Ryan Leaf. How about Russell for the Raiders?
Jamarcus Russell.
Russell. Everyone thought he was going to be the next big thing.
Tua.
Well, I don't know about Tua.
Can we throw Tua in there?
No, we're talking about busts. Like you can't even start. Like bad. Like quarterbacks that are.
But Tua's a winning quarterback. He's got a winning record since he's been in the league.
Not against winning teams. He beats up on bad teams. I mean, he's a serviceable quarterback. I wouldn't say he's
right.
Upper echelon quarterback. He's
Speaking about quarterbacks, how about Aaron Rodgers? I heard today he's going to retire.
No way. I didn't hear that.
I don't think. I told you I didn't think. I told you I didn't think he'd come back. I don't see it. Where's he going? Who's going to at this stage? Who's going to pay him?
It would have to be a perfect fit.
Yeah, but still, for 1 year, he's going to play 1 year. Who the hell needs him for 1 year?
Right.
I guess they thought of Brady. They gave Brady a 2 or 3 year deal in Tampa, but
that worked out for Brady though. He went there and won a Super Bowl.
Don't forget, he won 6 Super Bowls prior to that. Aaron Rodgers won 1, in his whole career.
And it was early in his career.
Yeah. Exactly. All right, well, we got another unbelievable game. I want to jump right into these games because I'm pretty jacked up, and I love this game as well. You got the Buffalo Bills against the Kansas City Chiefs. This is the big daddy of them all, I guess, based on history here, because Kansas City's going for something no one else has ever done. Think about this, guys. 3-peat, winning 3 Super Bowls in a row. Nobody's ever done it. And they're one step away from getting back to it. Not saying they're going to win it, but one step away from getting back to it. So I'm going to start with you, TK. I want to get your take on this game. You got Buffalo, Kansas City. Kansas City -2 at home. Totals 47.5. You got the ultimate matchup here. You got Mahomes. You got Josh Allen. You got weapons on both teams. This is what football's all about for playoffs, I think.
Yeah, I'm not releasing the game yet, but I'm got to lean towards Buffalo right now. Whoever wins this
What's
game.
up with you guys with these leans? Come on now.
Oh, I haven't really looked at
Championship
it.
NFL football.
Exactly, which
You
is
guys
why
are
we got to
putting
hold on
leans
tighter.
I got to wait to see what's going on later in the week. I want to get a couple more injuries on the reports on the injuries.
Okay.
But I lean towards Buffalo right now. You know, if you want this play, you're going to have to go to my website to get this one
I got you.
on Sunday.
It's one of those.
Whoever wins this game will win the Super Bowl. It's going to be an AFC
Secret
winner.
sauce game.
This winner is going to win the Super Bowl. I can't see the NFC winning the Super Bowl this year.
Okay, so nothing concrete as
Nothing
of yet.
concrete as yet.
Got to get a little more due diligence.
A little more work into this one.
All right, I'm going to jump over to Teddy. I think he's probably got himself. No,
Scotty, you got to give me some time on. I'm ready to go, but you got to give me some time. I got a lot of numbers on this game.
Oh, boy.
So bear with me here. All right,
Ben,
bear with me here.
put the clock on, Ben. Give him 1 minute on the clock. 1 minute, Ben.
Bear with me here.
Go
All
ahead.
right,
Go
let's
ahead,
go.
Teddy. You're the man.
So, the Bills 6-0 in the playoffs. This current Bills team that they have put together right now, but 0-3 in the playoffs against the Chiefs. Now, I want to look at this Ravens game really quick last week. The Bills only put up 4.6 yards per play. The Ravens put up 7.3 yards per play. The Ravens outgained them 150 yards, 417 to 270 something.
Right.
And the Ravens were 8-11 on third down and fourth down and 2 out of 3 in the red zone. So what I'm saying here is the Ravens dominated that game. Why does that matter? Because Buffalo let the turnover situation that kind of propelled them to win the game.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
Now,
but you got to factor that in, right?
that is a factor, but I'm just saying, maybe if they can control those turnovers. Now, Josh Allen against defenses that allow 20 points or less per game, so against elite defenses, he's played them 34 times. He's 27-7 straight up and 26-7-1 against the spread against elite defenses. So he turns it on when it's crunch time, when he's facing a powerhouse team. Okay. Now, the flip side of that, he's never won 2 consecutive games in a row as an underdog. He's 0-15 when playing a second game as an underdog. And the last number on this game, 4 teams have won the Super Bowl 2 years in a row and then made it back to the conference championships. Kansas City's the 4th team to do it. The last 3 teams all lost the conference championship game in that situation. Right. So there's a lot of numbers on this one pointing back and forth. That being said, you ready for my best bet? Josh Allen, anytime touchdown, plus 110.
Okay.
You want my best bet in that one? A referee to throw a flag on pass interference for Mahomes.
Oh shit.
I'm sure that's minus 250. So
yeah, you got to look what referees are in the game too. You got to look on Thursday or Friday, see who's going to be the head linesman in this game.
Yeah,
That's
right.
going to definitely make a difference.
And real quick, back to that player prop. Kansas City gives up the 8th most touchdowns against quarterbacks, rushing touchdowns against quarterbacks. So I think it's for Josh Allen to run in a touchdown, I think is my favorite play on this game.
All right. Sounds good. Well, I'm back at it. Guys, I love this game. I'm all over Buffalo. Big time. I told you 2 weeks ago, whoever wins the game between Baltimore and Buffalo is going to the Super Bowl. Probably the favorite that's going to win the Super Bowl. I just think it's all about Buffalo. I think they're mentally ready for this game. Yes, Kansas City is absolutely a dynamite team. There's no doubt about it. And when you got a guy like Mahomes running the show and you got weapons like Kelsey and all the other things they have around them and a great defense, it's tough to be and to go in their building and win a game like this is going to be tough. No doubt about it. But I think that toughness that Buffalo has put together this year is going to have them ready and prepared for this game. I say Buffalo goes in there and wins this game by a touchdown or more. I see them moving on, and I love this game. I'm taking Buffalo plus the 2. I'm not even going to adjust it. I'm going to leave it right there. Don't let it go below it because there might be sharp money coming in late. They might move into Buffalo to drop it down, maybe a half a point or a point. No big deal. But take Buffalo plus the 2, just like they were a home dog against Baltimore. Doesn't matter what happens during the game. If you outrush them, you outgain them. At the end of the day, it's who moves on, and I think Buffalo moves on in this game.
Did you put in a ticket as soon as Buffalo beat the Ravens? You put in a Super Bowl ticket on them?
Yep.
Nice.
I've made a big play on Buffalo.
What do you think about the total in this game? Could it be a track meet and could be
You know,
back and forth. Both defenses are really not that good, so I don't know what the total right now is, but it's It's got to be up there now.
You know these two are going to go at each other. You just know it. You know their egos, Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. They're going to want to showcase these teams against one another. So there's a chance that there could be. Again, it depends. That I can't make a determination right until I know more on the weather.
So I think it's going to be snowy there to answer that, TK. So I think you might see a lot of running.
But to go against Scott's stat there, they're playing the same team. It's hard to beat the same team twice. I'm with you on Buffalo, but like you always say, it's hard to beat the same twice.
I'm just looking at it, the overall picture. I think, at this point in time, you got to be mentally prepared. Obviously, we know Kansas City's going to be mentally, but I just think Buffalo, for some reason, this is their year. Last year I told you they tail off. Remember, I was the one that said I thought they were going to have a tail off. They were due for a tail off year. Well, they surprised me and bounced right back to a powerhouse very quickly. Because most times when you tail off for a couple of 2-3 years until you start getting some other players in the mix. But Buffalo's taken a team that's an adequate team and put it together to be a first-class type of team. And I think mentally they're ready for this game, and that's the key. You got to be mentally prepared to go into that stadium and that environment against Patrick Mahomes and all the weapons he has to beat him. And I think they have that. I think they got that mental capacity ready to go this week. That's why I like him a lot.
I saw that stare down with Kelsey in the game last week. He stood over the guy. You saw that? They were all talking about he had the big old stare down on the guy.
No, did he?
It was. They were all talking about that. He was trying to show off.
Wouldn't it be great if it was Buffalo against Washington? The two dogs this week prevail.
That's the Super Bowl everybody wants.
I mean,
it's the Super Bowl the public wants.
That'd be an interesting game. I'll tell you what. I don't know who I would. I'd have to really look at it. But I'm picking Buffalo to win it all. So I'm going to have to stick with that. Selection of mine. I made that a few weeks back. So I'm going to take Buffalo to win the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, my Detroit's out. I got knocked out last week, so on my ticket on that one, so I got no tickets left for the Super Bowl.
Crazy, and they lost their offensive and defensive coordinator. They just announced defensive.
I did play Washington on the money line too last week, so that was a nice little paycheck on that one.
But yeah, their defensive coordinator is going to be the head coach of the Jets. You guys saw that? Aaron Glenn.
Yeah.
I'd like to see the Buffalo.
They've been talking about. I told
too.
you Glenn for a while.
Yeah, they made it official today.
Let me ask you a question. I'm just going to throw a couple of scenarios out. If Buffalo wins and Philly wins, what do you think the price would be in the Super Bowl?
I can give it to you right now. They already got the lines up. Buffalo against Washington. Buffalo's a 4.5 favorite already, minus 235.
Buffalo against Philly, 1 point favorite.
4.5 point favorite against Buffalo against Washington, 4.5.
Philly 1.
I bet you that game's
Kansas City
real
1.5.
tight.
Kansas City would be 1.5 point favorite
against Washington.
Against Philly.
What about Buffalo against Philly?
KC against Washington. KC 4.5 favorite. Buffalo against Philly. Buffalo's 1.5.
1.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
So pretty much AFC favorite, which that should be.
Yeah, I didn't think you're going to get much value on point spreads at this stage with these four teams. I mean, any of these four teams are very equally weighted. Obviously, experience. Kansas City's got the experience. They got with the playoffs and so forth. And the Eagles do have experience. But the way these, like I said, the Commanders and the Bills are playing, I mean, these aren't really big underdogs. You know what I mean? These are teams that have shots to actually win these games.
Which I think is why we all agree on Washington, because that's just a lot of points for this point in the year to be getting.
Well, Baltimore doesn't drop that 2-point conversion. It could be a whole different series this weekend as well.
Yep.
A lot of stuff happened last week.
Like I said, I still think Baltimore's a better team than all the teams in there right now. But things devolved in.
Yeah, but you got to understand, at the end of the day, mistakes come back to haunt you.
The better team finds a way to win, like Scotty always says.
I don't know if Baltimore was. I mean, Baltimore was great. Great team all year. Buffalo. I mean, was their luck? Obviously,
they found a way to win.
Right, they found the way to get the job done, and that's why I think they're going to be prepared for this game against Kansas City.
Or did Baltimore find a way to lose that game?
I think they found a way to lose. That interception he threw, I mean, that was right to the Buffalo defender.
How about Mark Andrews' fumble? Not everyone's talking about his drop pass, but what about the fumble of the drive or two before that? That was.
Well, he got stripped.
Yeah, he got punched. But,
and your glove is soaking wet, and the ball's wet. Everything's, it's not
slippery.
The same. He raised a lot of money this week, I guess, for diabetes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. He
has
the Bills Mafia, all the Bills fans, good people they must be. They all donated to Mark Andrews charity.
They take shots after every drive. He checks his sugar, and if he needs a shot, he takes
one. Oh, really?
One.
He has that kind of he has type 1. That's
type 1 diabetes.
That's the serious kind. That's the kind that you're kind of born with it. I think. Yeah.
All right, I think we touched base on. We broke everything down. I mean, we gave you what we think is the right way to go with these games. Obviously, the guys are going to look a little deeper into it, weather conditions, but I'm feeling real confident about these plays. I want to talk a little basketball with you guys. I mean, it's here now. This is what we do for a living, obviously. We put out games on a daily basis. We got basketball in the mix right now. You got college basketball. You got the NBA. I want to talk a little college. I know you wanted to get into something with some college hoops. I'll kick it right over to you.
So you guys know I'm always talking about the SEC when it comes to football, but I was doing some, now that football's winding down, I'm really going to start digging deep into college basketball now. Really interesting. The SEC is really dominating. Before conference play started, the SEC was a combined 185-23 with no team having more than 3 losses. Mm-hmm. And then once they start playing each other, obviously, they're going to knock each other down and stuff like that. But right now, the top 50 schools in the country, 13 of them are SEC. And what they're saying is that the record for the most teams in the 64-man tournament from a conference is 11 by the Big East in 2011. They're saying that we could see 13 SEC teams go in and break the record. Yeah. So that's one thing I want to talk about. The other thing, speaking of the SEC, Auburn, they're looking like heads and tails the best team.
For now. Number one team. I mean, they got by the other day. They won by 2 on the road.
Skin of their teeth.
I forgot who they played, but they won by 2 points. Yeah, I talked about that earlier in the season with you guys. Staying number one in college basketball is like a revolving door. Seems like it just, it just keeps changing. How many times has it changed so far this year? Probably at least 10 times.
Yeah, but I remember last year specifically, you identified UConn early. I mean, you called UConn. I don't know if you had a future bet on it, but if you did, you made some good money because you called them early in the season. Obviously, this year they're having some trouble. They lost 4 of their 5 starters. You can't expect them to just bounce right back and be the same. But an interesting number on this Auburn team, they've beat 10. They're 10-1 against quad 1 teams, which are quadrant 1 teams, the top tier teams. And no other team has 7 wins against a quad 1 team. So I think that's pretty interesting. And the only team they lost to was Duke.
Yeah, no, there's some great teams out there. Alabama playing fantastic. SEC, they're ranked number 2 or 3 in the country right now. They won big last night. Like you said, the number 1 team is Auburn. Auburn and Alabama are like major rivals right next door to each other, and they're ranked probably 1-2 in the country as of right now. So yeah, there's a lot of powerhouse teams out there. But like Teddy said, guys, this time of the year, these teams are playing against each other in the conference ball. Anything can go. Like, look at last night even. Purdue, who was playing dynamite. Would they win like 7, 8, 9 in a row? Dominating recently. They come home and they lose to Ohio State. Ohio State come into that game losing 3 straight games in a row, going into a tough environment. They upset Purdue.
And Purdue was up big in that game at one point. Double
Were
digits.
they?
Double digits. And
Yeah.
I know I bet Ohio State last night.
Okay.
I took the 9.5 or whatever it was last night. I had 9.5.
I mean, my point is anything can go in college basketball.
Anything can happen.
On any given night.
And it is truly, more so than any other sport, the tale of 2 halves.
Yeah.
Right? You can have a team
don't-
win the first half by 20
Right.
and then lose the second half by 22. It's
Right.
crazy.
Yep, exactly.
Never seen anything like it. How about Cooper Flagg? What do you guys think of this guy, this Duke player?
He's all
big
world.
man.
He's all world. They had some turnout. They were getting $1,300 for tickets for that game against BC the other night because he's from Maine.
Oh, okay. I didn't know
so
that.
he had a lot of people come down. The price of the tickets, they were saying people bought a season's package of tickets for all the BC home games. They were
for that one?
fans of family of his because it was so much cheaper than if they would have bought that one game.
TK, you were saying the week that Scotty wasn't here how you think it's going to be even better now, college basketball, because you think players will stay because of NIL instead of just going one and done. So I was thinking with this guy, Duke's going to make a run in the tournament. We don't know how deep, but they're going to make some kind of run. It's going to be interesting to see if the NIL money can keep him for another year or if he goes to the pros.
Yeah, well, jumping back in your NIL money, you got to look at this guy coming to the University of Miami. I mean, we stopped football talk
Carson
already.
Beck?
But $10 million. What's his name? Comes and said, shit, I should go back to college football. I didn't make no $10 million.
Did he get $6 million or 10?
$10 million.
$10 million. Wow.
$10 million.
Yeah, and you have to. I think it was 8.
8.
All right,
Because
so
I think the number is the
I thought it
top
was 10.
5. The top 5 draft picks get guaranteed $8 million their first
He
year,
ain't worth $10 million.
and he probably knew he wasn't going to be a top 5 draft pick, so he said, "Shoot, let me take the money and stay." And his girlfriend, it goes there. She plays basketball there.
Yeah, there you go.
But some of these guys are going to make more money in college than they would in the pros, so you might as well stay in college.
She makes millions on NIL also.
Yep.
Let me ask you guys. I mean, think about it. Years ago, it used to be the ACC as the powerhouse. You don't really hear much ACC. North Carolina's tailed off. I mean, Duke is still a powerhouse, obviously, but not many teams out of the ACC. Like you said, this SEC conference is like the dominating conference right now in the last year or so.
That's I wrote down a little.
Big East, remember, used to be a powerhouse. You don't hear much, but they got a couple of good teams.
They
this year.
do, but that's what I was talking about. In 2011, the Big East sent 11 teams to the tournament.
Well, St. John's is playing good ball. And you got Georgetown, surprisingly, who's been terrible over the last several years. They're playing pretty solid ball this year.
The Georgetown Hoyas used to be a pinnacle of college basketball.
I like making money with teams like that.
Yeah.
I like to jump on certain matchups when, like, St. John's plays against a certain team where I think the number is incorrect, or a team like Georgetown. There's a lot of value with teams like that, guys. Watch teams like that, because you could always pick up spots if you really follow them closely like I do, where you could see that there's an advantage on the point spread. And, you could catch a good little price on these teams and make some money with them.
Yeah, and even like the two teams you were talking about, George Mason and St. Bonaventure, they played each other, and you had Mason. I love betting teams like that.
And you was playing well right now, Louisville, surprisingly. They've won like 9 in a row or 8 in a row. They were a team that's, been on the downhill for the last couple of years. Seems like they put a nice little program together. So, there's a lot of listen, when it comes down to the tournament, there's going to be surprises like there always is. But the key is knowing the numbers and how they match up against certain opponents, because that's what we watch on a daily basis. That's what gives us the edge, we feel, over guys just, gambling on these games and taking shots at it.
Exactly, numbers. I just redid my numbers for this week for college basketball. I got my top 3 teams in the college right now. Duke, Houston, and Florida right now. Those are my top 3 teams.
Let me ask
overall.
you, I don't not to cut you off, but let me ask you, how many teams do you kind of zone in on and follow real closely? Like, I'm sure there's like a certain slew of teams that you're following a lot.
I like watching the top 25 teams.
Okay.
Even though they don't always play against each other. But, if the numbers are off, most likely, when you got a top 25 team playing against a non-ranked team, these numbers could be off. So you got to watch out.
What about if
that.
they're playing each other? Like, got some matchups that, like, top 10 playing top 10 or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, like a Duke playing a Florida, I'd probably make Duke like a 1-point favorite in that game.
So let's say the line, you would make Duke over who? Just make a
Duke's
scenario.
playing Florida.
What about Duke, North Carolina, let's say?
I'd have to look at my numbers.
Okay.
I don't have it in front of me right now. I'm a numbers guy like you.
Go ahead.
But
Duke and Florida.
I'd make Duke a 1-point favorite in that game. So if the line came out Duke minus 4 or 5, I got an edge 3-4 points. I'm going to go with Florida.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a number guy just like you. So
right. So that's how I would look at it exactly. That's the key, guys. I'm sure Teddy kind of looks at it in his own way and comes up with, strategies that gives him the upper hand on a game. Listen, we're trying to win everything we put out. That's why we do it for a living. We take everything we do to heart. But sometimes you don't listen, the team doesn't cooperate. They miss shots. What can you do? But at the end of the day, he just hit the nail on the head. I'm looking for a line. If I see a line that's -1 on a game that I know should be 4, I'm going to take advantage of it because I feel I have 3 points to work in my favor.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I like to look at...
Even in the NBA.
You have to... So when you're betting, you have to do a couple of things, but you have to think of a number or have some kind of system to be able to put an approximate number of where you think the game should be. And then you can see where the game is and see where the differential is between your line and the game line.
Well, you got to, like you just said, you got to have EV on the game. If you don't have an edge on the game, you shouldn't even be playing it.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of games where, I love the team. I really want to bet the team, but the line's 5, and my number says it should be around 5 or 5.5 also, and that's not a big enough difference for me to make a move on it.
Too close. No, the key is you got to have at least a 1.5.
I was going to ask you, what do you guys? So for me, college basketball, because the lines are so soft, I really try to look for a 2.5 to 3 point edge or more. A 2-point edge doesn't even really do much for me.
I like 2 points or more. If I got a 2-point edge, like last night, I loved Louisville because I felt if SMU, this is last night, it's an old scenario, but if SMU is right, they just came off a 40-point blowout against Miami. They've been playing really well. They come home, they make them a soft 1.5. In a normal situation, I'm looking at this game based on how I look at a game. Even though Louisville's been playing really well, I would say SMU should be at least a 3.5, 4-point favorite in a game like this. They play strong at home. They've been playing really well. They make the line 1.5. I'm jumping all over the dog in this game because I think the line is off and they're trying to trap you. So I took the dog. And, I felt that that was the right side of the game. I mean, I'm just giving you a scenario here. And they win the game outright, Louisville, by 25 points. I mean, they blew them out. It happened to work out great, but I looked at the numbers on the game. I took advantage of what I thought was wrong, and I turned it into making money.
Yeah, like you said, though, if you're watching these numbers, you also got to watch out, too. These lines might be off a couple points because of an injury. You got to look at
you got to watch everything. Yep, I agree with you.
I got one going tonight, Kansas City against TCU. Yours was in the show last night's game. I got Kansas. They should be 9, 10-point favorites in this game. They're 6-point favorites tonight. I'm on Kansas tonight. I'm looking for Kansas to win this game, by double digits tonight. So we'll see what happens here tonight. But it's just an example. This one's like a 3-4 point edge on this one.
Yeah, well, that's what makes guys like TK and Teddy successful. I mean, you got to put the time in. Listen, you can't just if you're a gambler, you're a gambler. You're just taking shots at it and you're hoping for the best. And I wish you nothing but the best, but you're not going to make money doing that.
You're not going to make money betting parlays either.
No,
you're not going to be betting parlays.
No, if you're a parlays guy, you're not. You're just a gambler. You're not really in it to really treat it like a business and really make money at it. Doing it as investing into games. You got to be careful. You got to choose your spots, and you got to pick the right spots. And even though, listen, as much ammunition as we have and as much time we put in, we're not right all the time. Nobody's right all the time. But listen, we're going to go in and thinking we have the edge. That's the bottom line.
What do you guys think about teasers in basketball? Do you even play them at all, or you just stick with that in football?
I don't really do much of them in basketball. Not that I'm against them. I just really haven't explored them too much.
Yeah, I think you get like 5 points or something like 5,
you get
6
4.
Points, 4
I think you
5
get.
points.
I think. Well,
I don't play them.
Yeah, there's more than one. You could choose.
You could
You're
choose
gonna lay
some
more
up.
juice. The higher you go.
I think you go up to 7 actually on a 2-team basketball. You got to pay a lot of juice though.
But bouncing off what you said about guys playing parlays, we talk about it all the time. I don't want to sound like a broken record. Obviously, everyone knows parlays are bad for suckers, whatever you want to say. But the big misconception is like people that are only betting $50 to $100 a game. They think that they have to bet parlays because they want to make thousands.
Mm-hmm.
They don't just want to make hundreds.
Yeah, little money into big money.
Well, they see all these guys on Instagram posting 10 wins.
That's a big problem.
That does not happen.
Yeah,
Everyone might hit one of those and.
Hey, public service announcement. If you're following guys on Instagram and they're posting these massive parlay tickets talking about turning 20 into 500 and turning 500 into 100,000.
Yeah.
I have
You got swamp land?
I have land
Right outside the Meadowlands?
right next to the Everglades.
Oh, the Everglades. Even
for
better.
sale for you.
Alligators or no alligators coming
Oh, alligators galore. Okay,
right.
but that's not your biggest worry. Your biggest worry is that the house just collapses on that land. But yeah, guys, even if you're only betting $50, $100 a game, you can still make a couple $100 a week betting
easily.
straight.
But you know what? We're never going to get through to guys that just want to gamble anyway. So what's the difference? We're looking for the guys that are more sophisticated at the end of the day. Guys that really want to treat sports betting
here's the thing, Scotty.
right way.
I agree with you, but the thing is, everybody deep down wants to make some kind of money. Nobody
You would
wants
think,
to
right?
lose. I've never talked to someone that says, yes, I'm okay with losing. I'm just doing this. No, I want to make money. That's all I hear is I want to make money.
Right.
Okay, then here's how you do it. No, I'm going to do it this way. All right.
Right. They don't want to follow a
It's
good
like
system.
the guy that goes to the doctor, right? The doctor says, this is what's going on. If you don't quit smoking cigarettes, you're going to die. And they don't stop smoking the cigarettes. They just keep
Stop
smoking
for a
them.
pack on the way home.
Yeah. You can't change it. But yeah, that's what it is. It's just
I've heard it all this week, man. I could show you my DMs. Actually, this is no BS. I went 7-0 last week on my free play. Monday, I lose my free play with Notre Dame. Everyone's saying, you suck ass. You're a piece of shit. You made me lose all this money. How did I lose you all this money? You went 7-0 the fucking week before.
Well, because they found you only on that one day you lost.
No, they've been following some of these guys.
I have a guy. His name is Alex. I won't call him out too much. And we can go a couple minutes past the clock.
I could pull a bunch of names
But
out
listen, so I'm having a bad week this week. I'm 0-3 on my free games this week. I'm not afraid to say it because I win so much. I'm not afraid to talk about the losing. But this guy DMs me and goes, you suck, just like what you said. And I start looking, and I have DMs from this same guy in 2023, 2024.
So he loves you, really.
Sending me fire emojis, and goat emojis.
I love you.
Yeah.
Keep up the winning.
Exactly. And that one, because I've never really seen that before, where he was sending all that stuff 2 years ago, and then
I really just started
Yeah,
that
but
on
keep them
Instagram.
coming, guys. Keep them
keep
coming.
'em coming.
We
I
like
love
we
it.
like the
Builds
comment.
up
We love it.
algorithm. But I get all these too on Instagram. Speaking of Instagram, these guys come up there. A lot of services that are trying to copy you or whatnot. They'll come up and put all these nasty remarks about you. Oh, you're losing. You're owing this. I'm a paid subscriber, and I don't know if you get this stuff too. And they try to put up fake records, all this stuff.
No, I don't get fake records, but I get services. But I get a lot of services that show me love too. I get a lot of sports betting companies
I do want to get some love on there too.
that send like positive stuff as well. So it's
All right.
50-50 on those guys.
Yeah, listen, we're not going to make everyone happy, and we're not here to we're here to just do our job. I mean, we put it out there for you guys to see. I mean, we want to do the right thing. We're not going to be, winning all the time.
It's not a popularity contest.
I take
either.
it personally sometimes. I wake up and read these messages, man.
Nah, you can't take it personal.
You can't. You can't. I went through that. I'll keep it quick because I know we're winding down. But it got to a point where I was getting so angry. This was a couple years ago when you're a little bit newer to the social. I was getting so angry that I didn't even want to put a free play up the next morning because I didn't think they deserved it because of all the shit talking. But after a while, you get used to it and you realize there's a good percentage of people out there
Don't punish the good for
exactly,
the bad. Yeah,
exactly.
Well, I know Scotty's happy.
Come on.
TikTok's back. He was crying on Sunday
Oh,
night.
TikTok's
I was-
back.
I
Hey,
was
let's all
crying.
give a round of applause for President Trump bringing TikTok back for Scotty
And CapCut, they're both back.
and CapCut, which is our editing software. That's I guess the same company as TikTok.
I guess now Instagram's making one similar clone off of
Really?
CapCut.
Wow, man! What,
All
a,
right,
what a
guys.
crazy week it's been.
Great show, man. I love it. We touched base on everything. I mean, did some NFL playoffs, gave you guys what we feel are the right way to go this week. Talk a little college basketball. We're going to start giving away some picks next week. I think it's time. What do you think? Start giving some picks away on college hoops
Yeah,
next week.
it's
I'm
time.
ready, man. I'm
we're
ready.
gonna
We can
be
do the show
moving.
later in
We're
the
gonna be
week. We
moving
can,
the
get
show
it for
later in the
Saturdays.
week.
Is that true, Ben? Are we going to be moving? Are we going to Fridays? Because I think the people need to get some college hoops. We've been so strong on it. I think
Yeah.
it's time we put these plays out.
We got to do a giveaway. Like we talked about it last week. We got to do some kind of giveaway for these fans.
We got to figure out a good day because remember that the show still has to be produced and released too. And if we're gonna we really want to get the show up Friday night. I
Hey,
think.
Ben, if I get you a date with one of the girls at the bar, you could throw it up for
Got to put a drink in there. You got to put a couple of drinks in there.
But yeah, we'll figure it out because
gift
we got to
card
make
and
sure
a
we can
date.
get the show up Friday night.
Still waiting for the Vixens to walk in. What happened? We got to get them
we'll
in
have to
here.
get them out. I'll call up Big John and see if we can get them in here
All right,
next week.
guys. All right. Listen, I had a great time with you guys again this week. Teddy, where can the people find you out there? I know you put stuff out every day and keeping that winning record of yours moving forward. Let's go.
You can go to sportsprofits.com, my main website. Everything's there. If you're on Instagram, go to @the_profits_pick. Guys, follow that page, like the videos, leave a comment. YouTube.com/@thesportsprofits. And let's get on this video right here. If you're watching this video on the Get the Edge channel, like the video, subscribe to the channel. We picked up some good subscribers last week.
Let's go.
Getting those views up.
Let's get the views up, guys.
We got to
Come
get
on,
to
we're here.
1,000. We want to be at 1,000 by next football season. Minimum 1,000 episode. Love you guys.
All right,
Pass it
Tim.
on to TK.
Good work, Teddy. All right. TK Wins, my man. What's up?
Yeah.
How do they find you?
The best place to find me at, you just go right to my website, tkwins.com. You get all my selections there. If you want to watch me on social media, I put up a lot of free stuff there, a lot of other stuff on social media as well, at TK Wins on Instagram.
All right. Probably the hottest capper in the country. We're sitting right here in our studios. TK Wins, man. He's been smoking hot. Guys, you can find me each and every day. I'm putting out free stuff. I do whatever I can to give you that winning edge. And you can find me on my Instagram channel. That's the best way to find me. SM Sports Picks, Picks. Check it out right underneath me, right there on the screen. SM Sports Picks. And that's the best way to get in touch with me on it. If you want also other plays I put out, private stuff, you could shoot me a DM, and I'll be glad to reach out to you and see what I could do to help you out and give you that winning edge. All right. This is the show right here each and every week. Get the Edge. You can find this on all podcast forums. Every one of them out there. Apple, Spotify, you name it. Our own channel on YouTube. Get the Edge. And like Teddy said, give us a thumbs up. Give us a like. We're here for you. We're trying to give you that winning edge on these games each and every week. Have a great day today. We'll see you back here next week.
You're still on TikTok, though, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted to give a little Instagram plug. Also, TikTok, you can check it out. SM Picks on TikTok. Boom.